This is Tim. Welcome back. This is Lesson 2, Class 1. And in this lesson, we're going to be talking about the present perfect tense. Now, I'll let you in on a little secret. Perfect tenses are my favorite tenses because there's so much you can do in English with them, and there's so many meanings and subtleties that you can show. So, what's the deal with the present perfect tense? And how do we form it? Let's take a look. The present perfect tense is used to connect actions in the past with the present. And there are different ways that it can do this. For instance, you can use it for repeated action in the past that you expect to happen again, or for something that started in the past and you want to show that it is still happening. The third use for it is to talk about the indefinite past. And the indefinite past means it's not important when something happened, that happened in the past. Now, Cora is going to talk about the indefinite past in the next lesson. So let's talk about the first two. And let's start with, how do you make the present perfect? It's pretty simple, actually. The present perfect uses the verb to have, and then the past participle. Some of you may know the past participle as the third verb. So for regular verbs, it's pretty easy. Study, studied, studied. The third verb, past participle, studied. For irregulars, sorry, I wish it were easier. You'll just have to memorize what they are. So some irregulars are meet. Present meet, past met, past participle, met. So let's move on for that. Take a look. When you do it now, for regular verbs, it's very easy. You have to make sure the have verb agrees with the subject. I have studied English. She has studied English. They have studied English. You notice, for she, we use has. For I and they, we use have. But the verb, the past participle, is the same for the regular verbs. For irregular verbs, you still have an agreement with the subject and have. So, let's take a look at to be. You have been on vacation. We have been on vacation. He has been on vacation. So the past participle of the verb to be is been, B-E-E-N, and that's as simple as it is. It's very easy. Unlike a lot of English, it has rules and it follows the rules, which is good for you, and it makes my job easier teaching. So, let's look at the first two uses of present perfect. The first use is for action that's repeated in the past, such as, my family has been to America 4 times. Take a look. Has been is the present perfect. Has agrees with my family. Been is the past participle. And it shows that this happened more than once in the past, and we expect it to happen again in the future. If we had just used the simple past, my family went to America 4 times, what we're saying is this happened in a specific time period, or we don't think it's going to happen again. So that's the difference between the present perfect and the simple past. Let's take another example. Claudine and Ben have missed school many times. Now, when we say this, obviously, Claudine and Ben are not very good students. Why? Because repeated action in the past, they missed school. And because I use the present perfect, what I'm saying is, I expect they will miss it again. Obviously then, very bad students. Claudine and Ben have missed school many times. So that's how we use the present perfect to talk about repeated action in the past that we think will happen again in the future. Let's take a look at the second one. The second use is to talk about something that started in the past but is still happening. Example, Jose and Jennifer have known each other for 2 years. Now, this tells us a lot of things. Notice the present perfect, have known. Know is an irregular verb, right? So, they have known each other for 2 years. When did this start? 2 years ago. It has continued until now. And because we use the present perfect, what we're saying is, this will continue. They will not stop knowing each other. If we had used the past tense, Jose and Jennifer knew each other for 2 years, that tells us something happened. They don't know each other anymore. Maybe they got in a fight. Maybe one of them died. We don't know. But the action of knowing is over. So, we don't want to kill Jose. We don't want to kill Jennifer. So we use the present perfect. They have known each other for 2 years. Let's take one more example. And this is for something that started in the past and is still happening, and we expect it to happen in the future. Cora has taught at Boston Academy for 6 years. So Cora has taught at Boston Academy for 6 years. Has taught, because has agrees with Cora. Taught is an irregular verb. Teach, taught, taught. Now, we use the present perfect to show Cora started to teach in the past. Cora is teaching now. Do we expect Cora to leave her job here? No. We expect her to continue with her teaching. So, we can say all of those things with just one sentence by using the present perfect. Cora has taught at Boston Academy for 6 years. If we use the simple past, Cora taught at Boston Academy for 6 years, we don't know when she started. We don't know when she finished. The only thing we know was how long she was at Boston Academy. If we use the simple present, Cora teaches at Boston Academy, we can't even say for 6 years. All we can say is that it is happening now. This is what I love about present perfect. You get to say so much with only one sentence. Cora has taught at Boston Academy for 6 years. She started in the past. She's doing it now. She'll continue in the future. So, those are the 2 times that we've talked about to use present perfect. Later on, in another lesson, Cora will talk about the 3rd time, which can be a little more complicated, but she'll explain it fantastically. A final note, and something, if you're listening to English speakers, and you start to listen for she has, or we have, and it seems like they're not saying it, we probably are not. Most of the time, we use contractions. So, instead of I have, we say I've. Instead of he has or she has, we say he's, she's, it's. So, it's very easy for anything, any subject that uses have, we contract it with an apostrophe and VE. For any subject that takes has, we contract it with an apostrophe and S. That's one of the little tricks if you're speaking to English speakers or you're watching movies that you can listen for and know that they're still using the present perfect. So, that's the start to present perfect. In the next class, we'll give a few examples about how we use it and how present perfect crops up in everyday life and everyday conversation. So, feel free to go over this as often as possible, and when you're ready, I'll see you in class number 2. Take care.